square, car lights blinked and traffic lights glared. Above the din of horns and shouted obscenities, neon signs flashed and clashed with messages on every surface that was for sale. The wraparound sign on the Old Times building sent headlines in a band of bright letters running around the facade. Mounted over the running words was a giant motion picture screen with an ever-changing array of full-color commercials. At street level, less electrifying messages rode the backs of men with sandwich board signs. Pedestrians moved in quick streams of intricate traffic patterns, flying through the rush hour, dodging those who moved into their path to hand them bright-colored ads for local stores. The beggars also worked this fast-paced stream, moving along with their marks to flash broad smiles and holler pitches for spare coins. And on every corner there was a great war of odors from the street vendors' carts as pretzels battled with roasted animal parts. Only two people, a man and a woman, were not in motion, and the whole world moved around them. The woman stood near the curb, flashing white teeth and large breasts. Both her profession and her unnatural shade of red hair fit well with the advertising atmosphere. "Care to dance?" she called to every passing stranger, and then her eye fell on the elegant lone figure in the expensive suit. With a predatory stare, she watched this man from the distance of a few squares of the sidewalk. He didn't belong here. She checked the length of the curb for the limousine that should accompany such a man, but there was none in sight. He was staring up at the roof of the building across the street. Only this afternoon, a derelict had hovered at the edge of that roof, and then the ragbag had spread her skinny arms on the wind and sailed off the high brick wall. So like a bird she was, even as she fell, and caused no more than a brief interruption in the flow of the square, only the time it had taken to improvise the foot traffic around the body and over it, and some had trodden on it. But to compensate for that indignity, the dead woman had received 2 minutes of fame on the evening news. Now the man in the expensive suit seemed fixated on that same ledge. The woman strolled over to him and lightly touched his sleeve to call his attention back to the earth, to her. "Sugar, if you're waiting on another jumper, I'd say you've got some time to kill." She rolled her shoulders back and thrust her breasts out in a none too subtle offering. "Thank you." He inclined his head, and she knew if he'd had a hat, he would have tipped it. "But I'm afraid I have an appointment," he said, addressing her as a lady and not a whore. His dark hair was threaded with silver, and his mustache did not quite conceal the line of a faded scar. The scar made him look a little dangerous, and she liked that. And there was something about his mouth that would make any woman wonder what it might be like to sleep with him. She was wasting her time here, and she knew it, yet she lingered a while. Perhaps it was the challenge of those eyes, hooded in shadow. She came closer. The beams of a turning car flashed on his face, flushing out the shadows with brilliant light. And now, though it was spring and the evening was mild, she wrapped herself in her own arms. Her sudden shiver was not caused by any expression of his intentions, for surely he had been born with those eyes. Imagine a baby with eyes like that. Obediently, her imagination conjured up the face of an infant with alien irises the color of blue frozen water, and with black pupils like onrushing missiles. Well, ain't that cold? She looked up to the man with another question in her thoughts. Did your mama shiver when she suckled you? In a burst of intuition, the woman who truly understood men realized that this man's entire life had been shaped by his eyes, which could not convey any semblance of humanity, only bullets and ice. She forgot the pitch to sell her body. In silence, she stepped back and watched as he turned away from her and entered the gulag. The restaurant's glass door swung shut behind him. The gulag was brightly lit to obliterate any trace of ambience which might induce the patrons to linger over their food. "Eat and get out," said the overhead fluorescent lights. The strong aroma of coffee dominated the single room, riding over the stale odors of bygone meals. J.L.